not able, even when we're in class, we don't feel well or something, we miss something. That's the beauty of having all this technology, is issues happening. I have it. I know that's done. Okay. And now I'm going to share my screen. We see that this is available. And this is our section. What do I always want to do then, Frank, is I want to look at what's due. And I see that today, and it says before class, you should have had completed your final project part 3. And one of the things is there are issues, right, that come up. We use FastSpot. And what is it? It means what? A cloud service. What does that mean? There's another server somewhere hosting us. Could that software be a problem? Could that server be down? Yes. What do you have to do? You need to document. Okay. And then I also added an additional reading for ERP. You remember, Greta, what ERP was? Enterprise Resource Planning, that we talked about last time. Do you remember that? Yes, no? Maybe so. And
Yeah.
basically think about this is a review, Frank, from last time. And there's something called an enterprise resource planning. What does that mean? What is an enterprise, Greta? An enterprise is any large organization, right? And Frank, what large organization do me and you both know rather well? Frank,
I'm unsure.
and let's not be that unsure. What organization do we both belong to? I have a different role than you do.
The University of Miami?
Right. Is that an enterprise? Yes, it is. It's a large organization with many different departments, right, Frank? You know that. And basically, what's the core of what an enterprise resource planning software is? It's basically because there's so many departments, there's so much data all around. What an enterprise resource planning says is, let's get this organization together to manage all the data. So it's going to have many different modules, and an organization can choose what modules it wants. And now it's so specific that an organization can get software that's pertinent to its sector, to its industry. So the university is basically higher education. It's going to work differently than a manufacturing plant for autos. You agree with me, Frank? It's going to work differently than a retail store, right? So it's going to work differently than an Amazon. It's going to work differently than a Publix. It's going to work differently than Mercedes-Benz manufacturing plant. You agree with me, right, Frank? So what they do is a organization can choose the different types of modules. It can choose finance, HR, which is human resources, manufacturing. Frank, we are not manufacturing, right? We're not manufacturing anything. We're not a car manufacturing. Supply chain, sales, procurement in a unified activity with what they call a single source of truth. What does that mean, a single source of truth? It means that I have data that I can rely on in integrity. So basically, if I think about enterprise resource planning as basically I can think about it, it's almost a human body. It basically can think about different parts that work together. So I can think about the history of it, where it started in finance and accounting, and then it added manufacturing. And this company here that I'm using is SAP. Guess where this is built? This software company was built in Germany, Frank. And it became the top seller in enterprise resource planning, and it's specifically for manufacturing. And if you thought about around the world, what is Germany manufacture one of the best in the world? What would you say, Frank?
I'd agree.
But what product do they really do a great job on? What they manufacture?
Cars.
Cars,
Yeah.
right? Mercedes, Audi, whatever they have, they're really great in that. And this, they basically started probably providing services to them. And once they got there, they said, hey, we can do this, we can spread out. And really, the average American, when they think about software, they don't think about Germany. I don't. You probably don't either, right? This is where they excel. And basically, they have other competitors, but basically, you can think about that is this is kind of how it went. And through that, they went to CRM, which stands for Customer Relationship Management. And it's basically dealing with all my customers, right? They ended up doing real time visibility, human resources, KPI, which is key basic performance indicators, mobile, right? Cloud. Look at this, ML. What does ML stand for? Machine learning, AI. So this is what enterprise resource planning is, why it's an important. Basically, you can think about it. It's important because I have a lot of resources I need to plan. So if you think about the university, of all their departments, of all their ways, right? They have to plan. One of the basic their customer is whom? Students, right? I have to plan how many students I'm going to have in the future. I have to figure out how I'm going to recruit those students, what type of students I'm going to recruit, right? Should I recruit from the United States? Should I recruit from abroad? And now we have agility, right? Now have you heard about tariffs going around, Frank? Of course you have, right? Where are all the big tariffs going to go? To China. So should we be recruiting from Chinese students? What do you think, Frank? Maybe not now. Maybe this won't be good. So maybe we got to figure out, should we recruit from Northeast, whatever we have. So these are ways in which we can keep track of this. And this is by industries. So you even have manufacturers, retails, and you can think why I like this article so much is how they work. Is basically, this is how any enterprise product works. We give data. We got lots of data, right? That's not a problem in this world anymore. It used to be, how are we going to get data, Frank? We have no problem of a lot of data. What our problem is to make sense of the data. What's a problem is to get insights from that data. What's a problem is to forecast that data. What's a problem is in any business, what's the problem? Is not what was necessarily in the past, is what's going to be in the future, and how can I deal with the future, right? What's going to be basically going to make somebody successful is somebody that basically nobody knows 100% what's going to be in the future. If somebody tells you that, what do you know? Either they're lying to me or they don't know what they're talking about. Just like technology, they said there's not going to be a problem there, that fast bots won't be down. I have all these issues. What do I say? Take a deep breath, document it, and let's try to find a solution, right, Greta? That's what I say every week with you. So that's the idea of what's happening with this software. And basically, if I look at it, any of the types, what are the types of software for ERP, for anything? ERP used to be on premise. That used to be the way. And if I see on premise here, what does that mean, Frank? To you? Versus the cloud. I have an ERP that's on premise and I have an ERP that's in the cloud. In the cloud, you know what that means, right? That I go through a browser and I get to it. If I'm using Zoom, I know it's what? Zoom basically is a cloud service, but what does Zoom actually let me do in the very beginning? Record to what? The cloud or to what else, Frank? Zoom. When I'm on Zoom, it gave me two choices: record to the cloud or what else?
Or to your computer.
My computer. My computer. Another name for my computer is on premise. On premise means on where I reside in my organization. What they used to do, for instance, Blackboard used to have on premise, meaning Blackboard had a room of computers, Frank. They had a staff to take care of it, and they got the software, they installed it on their own computers and served it out to the university community. That was on premise. What's the problem with that? One good thing is it's based on the university, right? What's the bad thing is it's based on the university. So what do I have to do? I have to have qualified staff. Is that easy to get? No. Are we in the business of IT? No. We're in the business of educating, not IT. Amazon is in the business of that. Microsoft is in the business of that. Google's in the business of that. This is not what my business is. So that's why it looks so good to have the cloud. And then if you look at the key benefits of ERP, look at this. This could be the key benefits of any technology today. Frank, what is it? Higher productivity. If I'm going to be using AI, do I want to be higher productivity? Of course so. If I want to get deeper insights of my data, do I want to use database management or whatever I'm going to use? I want deeper insight. Tell me more about my data. Tell me more, Greta, about my possible students that would be good recruits for the university. Who are they going to be? Students that like the university, students that succeed in the university, students after they graduate are successful, right? I don't want to have a student to come in and even spend time with them and they're going to leave after a year because they couldn't make it, right? I want my chances to be high. I don't want a student after they leave can't get a job, right? It's not going to do me any good. And accelerated reporting, lower risk, simpler IT, improved agility. You see this right here, Colin? You see the thing where I say improved agility? What does improved agility mean? That I can move with times. You see there's a tariff now coming out. A good business person says, hey, we got to figure out what's happening. I'm not quite sure, but maybe I shouldn't be recruiting in China. Maybe I shouldn't have all my goods in China now. And how do I know? And then they tell you, how do I know? 10 things to look for, but it's the same thing of working it out. Now, this is amazing, Frank. Look what the trend, ERP trends to watch. I could change the word ERP and say, what are database trends to watch, right? I could say accounting software trends to watch, finance trends to watch. I don't care what it would be. What would be the trends to watch? Of course, generative AI, right? We've been talking about that, Frank, from the beginning of the semester, right? Generative AI, natural language commands to be able to integrate it. And notice this seems to be the trend, cloud, cloud, cloud. Personalization seems to be, and that's it. So that's why I like this article. You understand? We understand what it is. It's ERP is basically any large organization that has so many parts. And you, as Frank, let's say we made you the CEO of the university, you have to get an overview. What do you have? What are your most profitable centers, right? What do you think is most profitable in the university? Colin, what do you think? What area of the university is the most profitable and brings in the most revenues now? What brings in the most revenues to the university?
Tuition.
Tuition is one. What else? Which area in the university brings in the most revenue? Try again, one more time.
What do you mean by area?
Okay. We have schools, right? We have School of Business. We have the School of Education. We have the School of Law. We have the medical school, we have hospitals.
Business?
Business is about 5%. Amazing, huh? It's the medical. You know, we have hospitals. You know, we have a medical center. Do you know that, Colin?
Yeah.
That's the most problem. 95% of all our revenues are coming from that. Can you believe that? Maybe 90, 80. Incredible, huh?
Yeah, it's crazy.
But guess what? We were in the red in that for a while. Why? Because have you ever heard of an MRI machine? Think they're cheap? They're millions, right? All that equipment and stuff. So we got to get it done. So these are areas in which they see. If you heard the president, you know, we had our 100th century, and what did he end up doing? Is our president ended up talking. I heard him on some interview, and he emphasized certain areas. He emphasized sports. Do you think basically, Colin, sports brings in any money to the university?
Sports, yeah.
Yeah, especially our football, right? And so that was one. And one was the medical school. You know, that we're the best, Baskin Palmer, or what else we are, number 9 in U Health or whatever. So kind of those enterprise planning helps you kind of direct where you're going. And of course, you know, when you look at the Coral Gables campus, of course, tuition. And guess what? You have to then see what are the students want, right? What is happening there, where we want to cater to. So there's special software that they have just for universities. They have special contact management software to keep track of from the beginning of the process, once I have a prospective student that may come, to all the way till after their alumni. I want to keep track of that entire journey. How do I keep track of it? Just in my mind? Would that make sense, Greta? Of course not, right? So you want to, and basically, if you're going to go to medical school, Greta, you think you want to keep track of those people? Who's going to be possible? And you think about their wage earners, right? And all these are my entrepreneurs or whatever, or my scientists. So these are kind of things that you're using technology for. So let me share my screen. And if you look, let me just go back. To my web links. I have a couple web links. Do you see this in the top? Ava, do you see this on my web links here? You see this? Sydney, do you see this on my web links here? I have one that did I share this with you? Were you here in the last class, Sydney? Sydney, were you here?
Yeah, I
Yes.
was here. You showed us this.
Yeah, you remember this one of employees now required to integrate artificial intelligence into teamwork? He's going to say, if I'm going to hire, I'm going to do that. Well, the same thing now. This was a guy that started Salesforce, which was basically a competitor database management systems. And basically, this is what he says. This is amazing, Sydney. Today's CEOs are the final generation of executives who will lead exclusively human workforces. So if you were today, Sydney, a CEO, why would I hire you to be a CEO? Is you know how to handle human work. You can lead humans. Now what he's saying is that integrating basically AI agents into daily operations will become a skill that separates companies that thrive from those that fall beyond. Going forward, we'll need to learn how to manage human workers and digital labor to work together to deliver efficiency, productivity. Riley, what do you think of that? this paragraph. If you think about it, do you agree with that or not?
Yeah, I do.
Why?
Because I feel like some companies who don't integrate AI or advanced technologies are gonna kind of struggle.
Yeah, but it's not easy because
No,
you
it's
think
not.
about not even that. You may have some people that know how to manage workers, and you may have some people that are really good in managing AI, but you need to know how to basically manage both of them to be efficient and be productive. So this is basically, I like the idea that it's a final generation of executives that are just thinking about, oh, we're just talking about our human workforces. So I think that's kind of the direction that I wanted to take this class in. And that's why I wanted to switch our project to look at that. To make you the human leaders that know how to integrate AI. So I wanted to make that clear to you that you knew how to do that. And then what was also, if I look at what's due, is what's due then is also business analytics. So if I look at that business analytics, this is the part that you need to know for the test. Greg, you know, there's a test next week. Amazing how time flies. It sounded so far away, didn't it? And now we get to be together. I don't know if that's good or not with everybody being sick. I don't know if I don't want to catch anything from all you guys, but who knows? But anyways, but this is where we need to do is number 3, 4, and 5. That when I think about it, I need to know what descriptive analytics, predictive analytics, and prescriptive analytic tools are, Greg. And when I think about it in any of these areas, what is your major then, Greg?
I'm undeclared.
Undeclared. So at any time, in any way but you decided to be in business, is that the idea? You decided to remain in the business school? You're not sure even of that.
I'm in the business school, just
Okay, so you're in the business school to do business. And when you think about any of these, what I have structured or semi-structured and unstructured data, if I think about like videos are unstructured, I have semi-structured and structures. When I'm dealing with any of this is the key. Let me look at this slideshow. Let me show you this, Greg, fully, that everybody needs kind of to make sense out of. Basically, I have a business problem. You with me, Greg? I have a business problem, and my business problem may be now, after this tariff is, as a university that we both know, their business problem is saying, who should we recruit now? You know, that may be a problem for us. Should we recruit Chinese? Should we recruit international? I don't know. And then basically what I'll do is I'll take external data, and it'll be even external data on people's sentiment. I may take internal of who has succeeded in my students before. I'll clean, and notice I call this little square here, I call it data management. That's the key. I'm going to manage my data, so I'm going to clean my data. So in this case, I'm going to put that clean data into a data warehouse. You remember that data warehouse, Catherine Bremer? You remember we talked about data warehouse in the last chapters for the first test? Does that ring a bell, Catherine?
Yeah, that rings a
Okay.
bell.
So my question to you, Catherine, is a data warehouse, is it real-time data or historical data? Repeat the question. We don't hear you. You're going to have to unmic yourself, Catherine.
Oh, sorry. Would it be historical?
Perfect. No, don't even say with lack of confidence. With
Okay.
confidence, it's historical, right? That confidence that you have, that's what I want all my people in the class to be confident of speaking about this. Since now you know it. Why? Because we want to test out the data. So I don't want the data to be real time like inventory data. I don't want it to be I basically want to put in the data that I can do experiments on, that I can analyze. So I put that data, and you can put it in your notes, in the data warehouse. It's what, Ava? It's historical. I'm storing that data to be able to do some type of analytics on it. And the analytics, Ava, are 3 types. The first type is called descriptive analytics. That means what has happened. So, Ava, is what has happened. This is your choice. Descriptive analytics. What has happened? Is it past, present, or future?
Past.
Past, of course. Has. You know English, right? Has is in the past tense. So basically, I want to describe who has achieved in the past, right? Who has remained, who loves the you, right? Ava. So all of this, that's what we call descriptive statistics. And we can even think about it down to a student level. In Blackboard, have you ever checked your grade center, Ava? Did you hear my
Did you
question?
ask, have I?
Yes,
Yeah, of course.
of course. And what is that? Is it is it is it is it is it the past or is it the future? That grade center.
It's the past, but there's
It's a
some like
past. It's
open
what you
spots.
it's a past of what you've gotten. Those future assignments, it may be there, but it's not listed any grade, right? I'm not estimating what your grade is going to be on the second exam. I'm not estimating what you're going to do on your project, right? This is the past. So I can do descriptive statistics to make a curve, right? For the first exam. How do I make a curve? It's basically the grades, right? So your grades then were curved based on what has happened in the class, right? You know that. Now, when I say you're on a roll then, so this is the past that describes what I have, what my students have looked like, what their grades are in the past. And my grade book is going to look different than your grade book in the way that I see all my students. You just see yourself, right? We've talked about that before. And predictive, you're on a roll, Ava. It says, what could happen? Is that past, present, or future? What could happen? Predictive.
Future.
Future. It's just like in this case, what's your major, Ava?
Marketing.
Marketing. When somebody asks you for a marketing campaign, they want what? They want it to increase future sales, right? Ava, they don't want to increase past sales. They want to increase future sales. So you're going to be telling and predictive is based on this marketing ad campaign, you're going to predict that they're going to do better in sales. If they're not going to do better in the sales, why should they pay you money to do a marketing campaign? You agree with me, Ava? Yes, no, maybe.
Yeah, I noted. Sorry.
Okay, so that's what, so these are statistical procedures, could be data mining, it could be statistics of linear regression, logistics. Once I have predictive helping me, the key is, Frank, what should we do? So I am imagining, right, that in the future, maybe there will be 10% tariffs, right? Or there may be, let's say, I'm predicting that there could be possibility of 50% tariffs or whatever it is. And then what's going to even be, once we predicted it, are we always right, Frank? Of course not. What we want to do is to create something that we make less error than more error. They're better forecasts than a worse air forecast, right? I want to predict how many students will apply to my university, what? Not in the past, in the future, right? Because if I don't predict how many will apply, and then I want to predict how many will accept, right? Because if I accept too many students and I want them all in the dorms, Frank, what happens? I'm going to put 5 people to a room. That ain't going to work. So I have to do it. And then once we predict what it is, what do I have to, the question that's going to be really important, that's hard, is what should we do? It's a prescription. Just like the doctor says, hey, you know what? I think you have the flu, Frank. Right? I'm predicting, right? And then what is it? What should I do about that flu? Okay, I'm going to give you antibiotics, or I'm not going to give you antibiotics. I'm going to give you this pill or whatever. And then what should we do? And it's all done in a presentation tools. And guess what, Frank? All the underlying technologies for this part are what? GPUs that are more powerful, right? Cheaper, higher volume storage, increasing faster broadband net, neural nets, machine learning, deep learning. All of this is going to help us what? Get to a solution. And all of this, hopefully, for instance, if I'm in business, come an actionable business decision or recommended actions. And hopefully I make the right decision. And then I want to be agile enough to do what, Frank? To be able to change it a bit. And that's what we're talking about. So basically they talk about descriptive, tell me what I have, predictive, in the future, and prescriptive analytics, tell me what I should do. And that's the key. Presented in the dashboards, give me key performance indicators, and that's it. And that's 9. On Wednesday, we'll go over our study guide in person, but I've gone over all the classes. So when I go to that study guide and I see it, that exam review study guide, I know that the exam will cover the last 2 chapters of the last exam, which were very important, which were what? Data management systems. 4 was security, why that's so important. How can we do anything without any of these, right? And then the cloud, AI, information systems of ERP, and now, Frank, you know, enterprise resource planning software, and 12 business analytics. It will cover the audit assignments that we did, the lectures. We know that the exam next Monday will be in the same room as before. We know we always are you're going to bring your laptop and you're going to have respondents, and it's going to be the same format. And that you can study any way you want. I'm going to do a review on Wednesday and answer any additional questions you have. You can use any type of ways that you want. These are the articles that I think, especially for the open-ended, you should look at. What is cloud computing, right? What is machine learning? What is artificial intelligence? The generative AI, and what is ERP? These are all the terms, right? These are, I'm going to do 2 to 3 questions. And in answering the questions, you should answer it in a way that shows that you understand the material, not just bullet points, but explain it. Okay? And those are the areas they're on. And the other end, let me do this for K, audit. if I look at the assignment groups, you need to have upgraded to a URL. So for instance, in group 1 here, having Wix site needs to be upgraded to the domain name. We can see here that this is good with group 2. Group 3 is fine. Greta, is this somebody actually, why is this domain name, Greta? Is that a good domain name?
No, I tried to change it, but it was making me pay for a
Okay, so
different one
maybe
because I
what
think
you
we
need
made
to
it too
do
early.
is, then you maybe need to have someone else with another create it,
Okay.
using their credit card, because this is a horrible domain name, right? So it's good that we do careersi.net. That's good. Visionary Consulting, I like that. Wealth AI is really good. Groove AIGen.in is really good. And then Phi Tech Shop, I think that's good too. So, Greg, how are you in terms of your group? Greg.
I think we're in a good spot.
Okay, so can I use yours?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to open up in a new tab. And whatever I tell your group, which is group 7, right, is going to be for everyone. Okay? So, one is I don't like my site, right? And instead, right here, I'd say what you guys do. Do you see that, Greg? My site doesn't tell me anything. Also, I would take away welcome to AI, this welcome to. Wealth IA, your go-to destination for questions of finance, investment help. For what type of investor, Greg?
For like the college aged person.
Okay, so everybody hear me? This is the hard part now. Once you get everything in, now what is going to be difficult is to figure out who is my audience? What problem am I trying to solve? So this is going to be, so up here in all this white space here, I would use it as almost like my moniker of a go-to place for whatever students wanting to invest their money, help on investments or something like that. And is this my bot? Hi, now one thing do you like that title of my bot? Greg,
No.
dumb, right? Everybody in the group, did you do the bot, fast bot? Were you in charge of it? Greg.
No, I wasn't.
Okay, your responsibility, I'm telling this not only to you, Greg, to put you on the spot, to everybody. Anything on your website you should be checking out and going to the person and say, hey, let me help you, or you gotta remove this, right? Group 7 bot, right? This website, I want you, it's a great URL, Greg. So why ruin it with this, right? It's not bad for the first time, but get rid of this. And what should it be? I'm your AI wealth agent, right? How can I help you today? And you need to tell me about your services. Apologies, I don't have this information. Who's on your team? Apologies. So is this good, Greg? You there, Greg?
Yeah, yeah, I'm there.
So you got to check it out. Our services. So everybody understand is you have to go back and you have to make it crawl on you. You have to give it your website that you're going to crawl on it. At Wealth AI, we have a weekly webinars, that's good, that talk about current financial events along with new and upcoming investment opportunities. Not bad. I'll go into more in detail, read more. Do they work?
I couldn't get that part to work,
Yeah,
but
well,
if you
we got it.
if you
We
click
got
on
it.
more in the
Webinars.
top right,
So in this thing, do any of these work?
I tried to link it, but if you go into more into the top
Okay, so
right and
that
then
needs
click
to
on
be, so
services,
something linked somewhere.
yeah, I couldn't get it to work, but
Okay, and then this is all of a sudden Levi Zimmer Epperson Zoom meeting.
yeah,
Okay.
so what he tried to do was record
Okay, so
the
you need to
tutorial.
embed it. You need to embed it
Yeah.
in your part. So let me go here, open in new tab. Okay, we've seen this before. I really like this AI for mental health, right? Mindful posts. So we got some posts here. Our services. I would put everything with our services, I would put it free. Everybody hear me? Right now, I'm not going to play for anything. And also, what is this for? Who's here and do I have everybody in the group who they are? So let me even say, whoever this is here is home. It's a blog here. Experience less stress. Okay, 2-minute read, explore groups, innovation, Gen solution for student mental health. This is, is this for universities? If I'm going to just tell you right now, if it's for universities, right, mental health, I would put AI for mental wellness for universities. And then I would have the pictures set for, that makes sense. This looks like for elementary schools. This doesn't look good. And it's a lesson planner. Lesson planner. It ended. This service not available. And there's content. Also, I need then, in terms here, I need then, in this case, I need a VAPI phone number. Let's see this one. Transferring fitness teaching with Fit by Tech. Who's it for? Here in this Tech, I would say, who is it for? My home. Call me now for more information on what we do. I would put right here what? Riley, what would you put right near here in the number? Doesn't matter whether this is yours or not. What would you put next to this?
Free.
Well, no, that
Call
this is an agent, right? This is their VAPI number, right? So in this case, we would call that number. You have to call now. You would call that number and you would tell them that it's going to be an agent, right? So if I dialed the number, you dial the number, right? 1-872-666-8311. We'll see.
This is Morgan from BTE210-K. We help businesses improve their operational efficiency through custom software solutions.
Okay,
You have-
so basically, this needs to be, so with the VAPI, just not to put the VAPI number in there, but you have to change it to the prompts, to the correct prompts, that this is FITech, what we do. And then the mission of what we do, our team. We got our team of Luke, Kayla, Max, and Tony. We want to say what they do for the team. So this team page, right? Catherine, if I look at the team page, how would you improve the team page? Sydney, how would you improve the team page? You would put next to of what each person does for the team, what's their background, right? What they do. And then if for Max, what's the problem with Max's picture, Sydney? I don't have to tell you what's the problem. What is the problem?
Maybe that you can like kind of see someone else in it.
Yeah, you think that looks professional? Give me a break, right? And then are they doing, is that what they're doing? Injury diagnostics? Are they qualified for that? ChatGPT training for what? How is AI dealing with ChatGPT training and AI forgiveness? AI podcast?
Welcome to Busy. We want to get straight to what matters. So today, we're digging into FITech AI fitness. We're working off info directly from their site.
Okay, so this is not bad. At least it's saying AI fintech. And then if I go to there, in this case, if I went to, and you want to make sure that you see that anything, does their Instagrams working? Are they being posted one post? You wanted them to respond to the posts here? I don't need to let you go. So if I look at visionary consulting, real estate consultants, okay. Turning your vision to into a profit. Real estate agents today, AI agent phone number. So what I would do right here is this group here. Who's here from this group? Please unmic yourself.
I'm here.
Okay, so what I would do here, AI agent phone number, I would actually put the phone number here, the physical phone number here. Do you see that?
Yeah.
The hotset. Why do I want that? Because on a website, I can't just click. On a mobile phone, I can click. So put in here instead of AI, you can put next to it AI agent phone number, but you want to be able to see what somebody's going to be able to call. You got the podcast, good. You have listened to our podcast, great. You have virtual tours. Does this work? Social media, our team. This is good. So we have in this case, uses tools, perfect. And so we have a description. This is better. And then here, the agent phone number we also have here. So you want to check to see if the agent phone number works. You want to call it. And another thing here, you want to make sure, does it work on mobile? So you have on the Wix site, you have the idea for, in the Wix site, you can check it on the top, you can check to see how it works on a website, on a browser, and how it works on mobile. It should be done well there too. On videos, how to ChatGPT. Fantastic. So all the groups that weren't able to do it, you can see, what group are you?
I'm group 6, but those aren't done yet.
Okay, but you got it already done. So you see ChatGPT tutorial demo of real estate marketing, Zillow 3D tutorial, and Reonomy. So it's great. And book online. So far, yours is the best. Book your free session, social media group session, boost your online presence, book now, virtual tour webinar, market analysis. Very good. What's this? Get in touch. Make sure that all these work, that they're fully populated. They're just not thrown out once, that you're following each other, that you're responding to each other. Let's connect. Your email, your agents, the contents. And have you done the fast spot?
No, it wasn't working for us.
Okay, today it was not working. So check tomorrow. We had some it seems like Fastbot had some problems. So document it and check tomorrow to see, and hopefully on Wednesday you can conclude. So that was excellent. You're group 6, right?
Yeah.
You're on a roll.
Thank you.
Very nice. Everybody see that you have to start saying, does it make sense? You may want to refine it more to see who exactly in real estate are you trying to focus in on. Show it to me on Wednesday of the additions and see if and we can have it, see if you can get the fast spot to work, make the correction on the voice, and actually test it out. Ask questions on the voice. The voice should have, I would have it, you can even change the voice. Change the name and make sure that the voice is basically talking about your product. Right? And the same thing with the fast spots. So what did you gain from that, Levi? So basically you can see even this group, you can reach out to them. Group 6 and say, hey, and basically just give me a hint on how you did parts of those, right? Okay. Anything else I need? So, Greta, did that help? Just have to read it. Right? And go through and say, what are we doing here? In terms of what we have. Because it can be great. Honestly, can you think about, really, it can be fabulous that afterwards, after this class, you say, oh, can you work with AI? One of the guys basically said, I only want to hire people that can work with AI. Oh, on my job interview, here's my URL. And here's a description of myself. Isn't that great? Do you know how to do a podcast before this? AI podcast? Before this class? Lahasa. Look at that. And then the idea here that you'll be able to then attach a phone number and make an intelligent phone number and do another chat bot with it. And then you could even make it that you'll teach other realtors, maybe. That may be another thing. There's another service you provide. Provide realtors that they're so busy, you'll provide for them an intelligent phone number and a podcast for them. Does that make sense as a service? I think that makes sense as a service if I'm in real estate. So you can add those as additional services and you can actually do it. So what I want to emphasize is I want this to be real, things that you actually can provide them, not made up stories. Let the AI hallucinate about something else. But here, you're actually of services that you provide. Questions, Luke? So what do you have to end up doing on your project? What needs to be finished there?
Well, you said we have to fix the team section. We also have to make sure we say who it's for, who our products are for, and fix the services tab.
You have some work, right? But you can do it, Luke. There's no reason you can't. It can be useful, you know? You got to put some human intelligence and then you use the AI with you to work with it. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. We'll do attendance. I'll stay with you as long as you need to. Okay, anything that you need me for. And then I look forward on Wednesday, two things on Wednesday. I'm going to go through each of the group's projects. So if you're not there, you'll get points off. And then I'm also going to do a review for the exam. And the whole idea is that on the 28th, Luke, you'll present, and what I'll look at on the 28th are things that need to be, that you said that you were going to change, right? I don't have to look at the whole thing. And then for your final recording, you'll show everything to someone that didn't. You'll take a little snippet of the podcast. You'll dial your VAPI number. You'll do your fastbot, show that it's working how it is. So you have to test it. So even though you're not responsible for those parts, you need other people in your group to test it out. Not that you just have, group 7 bot. Okay. So let me share my attendance. Start check-in. And Frank, stay with me too. Other people stay with me if you have questions. 7366. So can you be so kind and my moderators put it in the chat? 7366. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Riley. Thank you, Greta. And then I'm going to stop sharing. And stay with me for questions. And let me stop sharing, stop recording.